Hey everyone, welcome to our The Traitors 2, Episode 2 recap
Oh,
chat.
I feel like we were just here a few minutes ago.
Well, more than a few minutes, but
Right.
we were just here.
Several. All right, so last time on Traitors, Dan and Phaedra picked another traitor.
Well, they were also named traitors.
Right. And they did a murder.
Yeah, they did a murder. And we find out very quickly that the person that they chose to be a traitor along with them was Parvati!
And she was thrilled.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good fit for her.
She's really killing it with the fashion.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a
was
lot of people
great.
are. A lot of people
Yeah.
really packed well for this trip.
They did. They did. And unfortunately, a lot of people's outfits are not going to get seen, which really sucks.
Yeah, that is a bummer.
All right, so they showed Dan and Phaedra discussing,
Who to murder?
yeah, what would be the best reason for a murder?
Well, first, Dan was like, what about Kevin? I mean, he hasn't really, done anything. He's kind of just here.
Why would you want to get rid of him then?
Well, he was saying it might confuse people because, again, he hasn't really done anything. So everyone would be like, well, why Kevin? Like, what's going on here? Who could it be? Like, it would be very confusing and,
Okay.
stuff like that.
Well, then he says, Johnny Bananas, and I said, what?
That's a huge move to get rid of him first.
I think that's a really stupid move because you need him to help you win the challenges.
Well, that's the point that Phaedra brought up. But I think that Dan feels very threatened by Johnny Bananas.
I would agree with that.
Because he knows that Johnny
Knows
is
what's
pretty
what.
smart. He's familiar with these types of games. He might be able to sniff out who the traitors are.
He won the challenge 7 times.
Yeah. Plus, he's very persuasive. So if he did catch on to one of them, he would probably be able to convince a lot of people to vote for them to be banished.
Plus, if you've seen him on House of Villains, he wrote an effing note to himself and planted it.
Yeah, pinned it on somebody else. So I think that that's a big part of that. Dan was also like, what about Peppermint?
Everybody's jumping on the Peppermint bandwagon. Why don't we jump on the Peppermint bandwagon too?
Boo.
Dan loves murder. He said it. He's guilty.
He's very giddy for it.
All right.
I think Phaedra was too.
Yeah.
She was like, let's get it.
Yeah. Doesn't she have a funeral home? She's just looking for business.
No! No.
All right. It's morning.
Oh,
Good
time
morning.
to break the fast and find out who was murdered.
I love that breakfast room. It is classy AF.
They really do a good job decorating the table, too.
Too classy for us. They're serving gourmet foods in there.
They got the toast stands. Do you
They
think
got
that
salmon.
they actually eat breakfast there, or that's just for show?
I think they actually
real
eat
breakfast?
Yeah, it's real
Okay.
breakfast. Because they're like, we could kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
NDB,
murder
non-deductible
2 birds
breakfast.
Yeah. If you murder your queen, you murder your sister.
Yeah. So everybody starts coming in little clumps, and we find out, who's still alive.
Yeah. Dan comes in the first group. I think Parvati came in the second group, and she's like, you know
Did
what?
she come in, pretty far down the line by herself?
Oh, she comes in later on. I think Phaedra came in. The second group.
Yeah. Everyone's like, oh my god, there could be a traitor in here right now. Maybe
There
even
could
two.
be 2. That Peter Backler guy is all like, I'm going to figure this out.
He's definitely giving me the same vibes as Ari last season.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's the same...
He's-
Same
Yes.
deal, I feel like. Which really tells you a lot about the Bachelor casting.
Yeah. For real.
Same types over and over.
Parvati says it feels different. It's like when you know you're lying and you're all of a sudden everybody started
Yeah, she felt like
The
everybody was
telltale heart.
staring at her.
Yeah. So Tamara's back. Great.
Right, yeah, because last time she was
Do you
sick.
even go here?
She's got a lot to say for somebody who wasn't there for the challenge and all that.
For real. So it comes down to only Kevin
Kevermint.
Peppermint and Johnny Bananas missing, and we're like, it can't be Johnny Bananas.
But
You
not
gotta
Peppermint
keep
either.
him.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Kevin. We don't know you, so.
Yeah. And it's Johnny Bananas.
Oh no! I hate how upset I am by this.
I know. You just killed half the freaking show.
I mean, and he was all like, a lot of the fun is leaving the house right now.
And he's right. He's absolutely right.
Well,
You think you're fun, Dan? You're bringing zero fun.
Well, Alan said no bananas for breakfast.
I love when he threw his picture on the ground.
Good times.
That's a classy move. I love it.
But this was quite a shocking first murder.
It was.
They really set the tone.
That was a big fish.
Because everyone was like, whoa, we were not ready for that. Like, usually if Johnny Bananas is on a show, he's going to be around for a while. So everybody was pretty shocked by that. It must be weird for Parvati, like, being a traitor but not being a part of that and just being like, who did this?
Yes. Yeah.
So, it's interesting.
Okay. So, they start discussing the Peppermint Trishelle drama, and this just made me so...
I hated this.
Sick. I hated it.
Trishelle has been telling everyone she can multiple times, like, oh my god, I think Peppermint's a traitor.
She, like, reacted when I told her...
When I accused her of being a traitor.
Yeah.
I thought Peppermint's reaction was
normal?
Normal, yeah, warranted. It wasn't like she was like, F you, biatch, like, I know
I don't think she was upset either.
No, she was just like...
It was a joke.
Yeah, like Sheree said, it was playful.
Yeah.
So, I feel like Trishelle has grabbed onto this and is blowing it way out of proportion. And Peppermint's just like... Peppermint didn't even know what Trishelle was talking about at first. Like, what incident? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It was such a non-event.
How are none of the other players looking at Trishelle and saying, why are you making such a big deal out of this? Why are you deflecting away from you onto somebody else? Is it because you're a traitor?
I mean, a few people were kind of bringing that up later on, which we'll get to. But it didn't seem like they were completely turning it around on her and being like, I think you're a traitor. It was just like, I think this is BS.
That would have been such a red flag to me.
Oh, yeah. Somebody speaking up that much.
It was excessive. Very much so excessive.
Absolutely.
But then Alan arrives looking fabulous with his blanket shorts. Oh my god, those were so lovely. That was like a reimagined kilt. But like modern goth.
I loved it. Yeah, so like we said, he throws Johnny Bananas' photo on the floor, and then Tamara has her own accusations to make.
B, you start piping up about John being a politician? How much
said you can't trust politicians?
How much lying did you do on the Housewives show? All right, so I don't even want to talk about her because it's ridiculous.
All right.
Time for the challenge. Everybody's been divided into 3 teams and have been given not so as stylish as Alan plaid shirts.
I'll take them. I love a flannel.
All right. So there's yellow team, blue team, red team.
Okay.
This is a 30-minute challenge.
And there's $20,000 on the line.
You got to get to Alan's field of gold.
Oh.
Where's me gold? All right, so the 3 teams are taking different paths to get to the same field. So there's questions along the way in boxes.
You gotta run.
Yeah. Apparently, Alan's been busy handing out surveys.
Yes, he did a little survey.
Asking questions, all those questions. And the answers to the survey are the answers. You have to pick one of the 2 scarecrows.
Yeah, there were 2 options for each question.
It's multiple choice. You don't even have to write it in.
Right. So you had to pick which scarecrow you thought was the correct answer.
Right.
And bring that to the next box. Right. Because each scarecrow had a key on it. And then if you had the answer correct, the box would open. And you'd get to move on to the next question.
It was all weird, though. The scarecrows were on, like, these Jesus Christ Superstar crosses. It was really disturbing in a way.
Yeah, well, anyway.
There's also 3 shields hidden on the challenge.
Which we'll get
safety.
to. Those are in the field of gold, so we'll get there.
So Dan is all like, Alan gave this survey, and, like, the answers are really going to tell me something about what the group feels about the temperature of the challenge and the game,
Yeah, because... as they would get to these questions, people would reveal how they answered to try and be like, I think that we should pick this one or this one. So it was pretty telling in some ways. Because, I mean, the questions were like...
who's trustworthy?
Who's the most trustworthy out of these 2?
Yeah, who's smart? Who's, whatever.
I don't think that was one of the questions.
Okay.
Who's the most popular out of 2
Yeah.
and who needs to speak up more. So the first one was who's more trustworthy between Marcus or Larsa.
I think everybody got that right away.
That would suck to be, like, the other person.
Yeah.
Everybody said it was Marcus, so they were correct.
It's so Aki's in the group if the question is about you.
And you're, like, not the answer.
Yeah. But, like...
I mean, that came up again, of course.
Peppermint was part of the second question. Who's more popular, you or Deontay? And she was telling everybody, it's me. It's me. And they didn't believe her.
Yeah.
And they took Deontay, and they had to go...
They had to go back and
They had to go back and drag the Jesus Christ Superstar thing, and then get Peppermint's and bring it to the next question. Ugh. Who needs to speak up more? Dan, I would say that question is very telling because it was you.
Yeah, it was
not Sheree.
It was either Sheree or Dan.
Yeah.
And the answer was Dan. And he was all like, I'm trying to play this game, like, only speaking when spoken to, whatever. But, like, people are going to catch on to that and think it's pretty sus. Mm-hmm. So he might need to change some things up here.
Yeah. Big Brother rules don't apply here.
This is a whole different game.
Exactly.
So... The yellow team was the first one to get to the field of gold. I think there was about 10 minutes left.
Field of scarecrows.
Yeah, oh my god, it was so creepy.
Oh, it was like that, wish it into the cornfield.
Children of the corn. There were so many scarecrows lined up, and some of them had hats and some did not.
The ones with hats had the safety shields.
Right, but only 3 of them.
Right.
3 had shields.
And there were, 10 gold pieces in the rest of the scarecrows scattered about?
Right. So there were going to be plenty of scarecrows that didn't have anything. Right. So you had to go up to the scarecrows, rip their freaking chest cavities open, and see if there was anything inside.
Yeah, but, like, some of them, He-Men were, like, tearing the ass out of those scarecrows. They were knocking them over, and, like, if it's not on the front, under the shirt, it's not in there, kids.
No, you had to open it up. And, like, where the hay was.
Yeah, but when you opened it, it was right there. It wasn't like... I mean, they were, like, shredding these freaking scarecrows.
It was like that scene in The Wizard of Oz.
They threw my chest over there.
No!
They threw my legs over there.
Yeah, so quite a few people decided to try and look for a shield instead of the gold.
Namely Dan...
John the Politician.
Yeah, and...
Janelle. She was like, I'm going for that shield again.
Going through it over there.
Yeah. I think Peter was also looking for a shield, wasn't he?
Yeah, he might have been.
Quite a few people.
I think he was one of the ones tearing the ass out of those scarecrows.
Yeah.
Let it go, man.
Well, eventually the other 2 teams arrived, and in the end, they only ended up collecting...
Only Dan got the scarecrow
with
shield.
The shield. Yeah, so 1 out of the 3 shields were found.
Right.
And then they only got 16K out of 20.
So they only got 8 out of the 10 gold pieces. Mm-hmm. And Alan said, look, you could have had it all, baby. You could have had it all.
Rolling in the deep.
That's right.
Yeah, so...
But some of you chose to go for safety.
I'm curious, though, if this is going to matter in the end. Because remember last season when they didn't get the full amount of prize money and they just bumped it up anyway?
That's what I was thinking in the first episode. I was like, this is all BS.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe they won't do that. But we'll see.
It's also very telling how Dan keeps checking in with Parvati. What do you think about me? Tell me about me. What do you think about me?
Feel safe? I mean, he knows that she's a traitor. She doesn't know that he is, because she hasn't been brought into the fold completely yet. So he's trying to, like, take the temperature of the situation, see what her thoughts are, see how she's acting.
Yeah.
So he's keeping her on a close leash. Tight leash.
All right. Well, this whole Peppermint thing is still continuing. They're still discussing it. They're raking her over the coals.
And by accident, Peppermint, this is like an honest mistake, could happen to anybody.
Happens to me all the time.
She says the opposite of what she means. So she basically says that she's a traitor. And everyone's like, oh!
You said you were a traitor!
You said it, Freudian slip! So everyone's like freaking out. And she's like, I'm not a traitor. Like, it was an accident. I'm a human being.
Yeah.
But people are running with it.
Yeah.
You know who is not believing this whole thing?
Max.
I was not expecting Maxime to step up here and be like, this is BS. Like, let's just cut the crap. Well, so he is on Peppermint's side. He does not think that Peppermint is a traitor.
Well, Sheree is also on Peppermint's side. Yeah. And, like, good, because, like, Peppermint needs more people on her side. Mm-hmm. So now it's table time. Get into the table. Sit down. There's an empty seat, of course. Rest in peace, Johnny Bananas. Mm. Can you believe it? What are the chances?
I still can't believe he was the first one out.
I was like, no way.
Yeah. So this is the time for everyone to discuss who they think is potentially a traitor, right, because they will be banishing someone.
Mm-hmm. So Alan arrives, still dressed in the same outfit.
Well, it's the same day.
Well, I would have liked to
cut
have
him
seen
a little slack,
outfit change. But whatever. Peppermint says, I would like to speak first.
Yeah, so she fully addresses the Trishelle situation.
She even throws some shade on Trishelle, which I thought everybody was going to run with. You know, like, hey, you're right. Why is everybody, why
going
is she
along with what Trishelle's saying? Why is Trishelle going so hard
Why is she getting a pass here?
Yeah, it did seem like for a second maybe the tides were going to turn and Trishelle was going to become the new target, but that was not the case.
To which Trishelle said, if I'm wrong, I'm really going to feel like garbage.
Well,
good for you.
Here's the thing. It seemed like Peppermint was gaining some ground, but then Larsa was like...
You said you were a traitor.
Peppermint said she was a traitor, so there's that.
Yeah. So...
That really, people did not like that.
No, they did not like that. And everybody kind of were like, oh.
Yeah.
And then freaking Tamra, who doesn't even go here, is like, John, did you say you had asthma? Because, like, you didn't have an inhaler.
She tested him during the challenge because he was running.
He was running around like a pony.
He was running quite quickly. He even busted his...
He wiped out at one point.
Yeah, he busted his butt in one part and fell. And then he had, like, mud all over his stomach.
And his face.
Right. But Tamara was like, hey, like, do you have an inhaler? I don't feel so good. And he was like, no, sorry.
I had asthma as a child.
Right. So they get into this whole argument about semantics and exactly what John said to Janelle when she was asking him what the deal was with his heavy breathing after the traitor selection.
I don't recall him saying that he had present asthma. I heard him saying...
He's always had trouble breathing.
He's had trouble breathing.
He's kind of asthmatic.
Right. But he never said, I have a diagnosis of asthma.
Right. But again, it's a semantics argument.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, yes, we get that you have very, very little info to go on, especially the first banishment.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you're going to grab onto anything. But, like, when you start to see... people, Salem witch trials, like herd mentality, it's upsetting.
That's what happens in these games. Honestly, okay, of course we know that he's not a traitor. Mm-hmm. But I would definitely be sus of that breathing. Especially if, he was Speaker of the House of Commons and he was talking about how this was so intense, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I feel like he had to have been in some very tense situations.
Mr. Speaker, would you carry this package home for me?
Yeah, so I mean, whatever. The fact that this is, like, making him hyperventilate.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they finally had the vote after a heated discussion. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, Peppermint received the most amount of votes.
It was a landslide.
I think John got, like, 2 votes.
And then Trishelle got,
Trishelle got the vote from Peppermint, and Peppermint got the rest of the votes.
Yeah.
How fabulous was Peppermint's reveal in the Circle of Truth.
Yeah. She walked up there. She spoke her piece. Shout out to the transgender community.
Yes.
And
we support.
Yes. And then she let everyone know, I'm not a traitor.
I'm a faithful baby. Yeah, so screw you.
And everyone was like, did you see Dan's fake upset face of like... I mean, the traitors are pleased because the faithful just voted out one of their own.
Yeah.
They're doing the dirty work for the traitors.
Well, everyone is bummed out, whether it's for fake or for real, especially Deontay. He's really upset about the whole situation.
Especially because he jumped on the bandwagon and voted Peppermint out.
Yeah. Sheree even changed her vote after she gave support.
Yeah.
And then was like, I just went with the group. I went with the house. You should never vote with the house.
Yeah.
All right, so Trishelle later on was like, oh, I feel bad, blah, blah, blah. And Max is like, yeah, you should because you did that. This. You did it.
She's like, I need a minute. Like, I gotta get out of here.
Do you hope that they target her next?
I mean, yeah. Obviously, we know she's not a traitor.
Right.
But it would be pretty satisfying to see her go.
I would love to see her go next.
Yeah.
All right, so it's bedtime. Alan said so. He's ready to tuck you in.
I'm going to miss Peppermint. I'm disappointed that she's one of the first few out as well.
I really enjoyed Peppermint.
Yeah, she's a lot of fun. So
So it's bedtime, and the traitors come out to play.
It's time for Parvati to meet the fellow traitors.
So Dan and Phaedra get there, and they're waiting with their heads down, and Parvati walks in and takes off her hood and is looking at them, and they take off their hoods, and she screams.
So
it's
now
crazy.
The three traitors are united.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they told them, like, you know, don't talk too loud because you never know, like, if the rest of the people...
I don't know if the rest of the people are gone at that point, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know where they're holding them. I don't know what the deal is. I'm sure they're not anywhere within earshot.
I mean, I think they have to be very careful about that, because I thought, you know, like, oh, why are they being so quiet on the first...
I think that's paranoia, mostly.
Okay.
But, yeah.
I would love to know if, like, that was, you know, or they're like, shut up, you're too loud.
Who knows?
I don't know. But that was a really good episode.
Yeah, I feel like things are really rolling now.
We're ramping up. We're ramping up. We're about to watch the third episode, and I am so excited.
I'm going to be sad, though, because I feel like, of course, it's going to end on a cliffhanger, and this time we won't have the episode just, like,
I know,
out there and ready to watch.
We're going
to have to wait.
That's going to be tough.
It is going to be tough, but... Let us know if you're loving this season. I know we are.
We're really loving it. Everything about it. 100%.
Yes. So we'll see you in a little bit for episode 3. And until then,
much love.